They cut my mic. I won't take it personal. It's okay. Starting with the call to order. Commission members, Brendan Cruikshank, Justin Denardi, Matt Eckhoff,
Present. Good afternoon.
John Hanson,
Present.
myself, Bob Kuhn,
Present.
and Josh Stone.
Present. Hello.
Excellent. Good to see you all. Now we'll go on to, I don't see Lieutenant Ryan Turley yet. And Mr. Bauman, I hear, is not in today. But it looks like we have Stephanie Santana. Was Reed here a minute ago? Okay. David Lemke. Is that Chris back there? And then we also have Councilmember McCarthy. Excellent. Well, we'll start with our preliminary general business. And Mr. Ince just walked in. So at this time, this is public comment. Any member of the public may address the commission on any subject within the commission's jurisdiction that is not on the meeting's agenda. The Arizona Open Meeting Law prohibits the commission from discussion or taking action on any item that is not listed on the prepared agenda. Commissioners may, however, respond to criticism made by those addressing the commission, ask staff to review a matter, or ask that a matter be placed on a future agenda. To address the commission on an item that is on the agenda, please wait for the chair to call for public comment at the time the item is heard. Anybody public comment? Nope. Moving on to approval of minutes. We have two sections of minutes here. Is there any discussion or is there a motion out there to do anything about it?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second that.
Thank you, John and Matt. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. And anybody opposed? Excellent. The minutes are approved. Moving on to new business, the Pedestrian Advisory Committee appointments.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. My name is Martin Ince. I'm the multimodal transportation planner for the city. We have one reappointment for your consideration tonight and two appointments, all to the Pedestrian Advisory Committee. The reappointment is for Nancy Hagerman, and the new appointments are Melanie Colavito and Sean Bowker. The two appointments are to fill existing vacancies, and the reappointment is to reappoint an existing member to a new term. And the dates of their term are included in your packet, as well as their applications and a summary of terms and appointments for PAC and BAC.
Thank you, Mr. Ince. Is there any discussion or suggestions from any members of the commission?
I move that we accept their appointments.
I would second that.
Excellent. We have a motion and it's seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Excellent. Congratulations to those people on their appointments and reappointments. Next up is old business. Cheshire, the Fremont Boulevard traffic calming update.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Transportation Commission. My name is David Lemke. I am a transportation engineer here at the city, and today I will be going over the Cheshire-Fremont Boulevard traffic calming update. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Can everyone online see that?
Yes.
Yes, all right, thank you.
Yep.
So today we're going to be talking about the asphalt art project on Fremont. It was completed through the Bloomberg Asphalt Art Grant and was completed in May 2024 with the combined efforts of the city, MetroPlan, and the community. The goal of the project was to slow speeds and make the crossing safer and more comfortable at the park. So let's go ahead and dive right into some of our results. So we did set a speed counter between Joy and Ann on Fremont Boulevard, which is just north of the park. And this graph shows the changes in the 85th percentile and the average speed that we observed. For those who might not know, the 85th percentile is the speed at which 85% of the vehicles are driving at or below. And originally in the blue, before the art, the 85th percentile was at 32 miles per hour. And after the art, it fell to 30.4 miles per hour. So we had about 1.5 decrease. And the average speed fell from 28 to 26.75. And we also looked at the percentage of vehicles traveling above 30 miles per hour, which is another factor in how we decide if certain streets need traffic calming. And for this street, we actually saw a decrease of about 41% between before and after the art, the blue again being before the art and the green after the art. So we did see a decrease in the vehicles who were traveling above 30 miles per hour. And we saw a similar decrease between vehicles who are traveling above 35 miles per hour, another decrease of about 43%, which we were really happy with. We feel like these were good results from the art. MetroPlan did a survey of the neighborhood to see generally how people responded to the art. So this first one, I know there's a few things going on here. It asked the neighborhood opinion on vehicle speeds before and after the art. So in the blue, it's before the art, and safe and comfortable. About 30% of people felt it was safe and comfortable before, but after the art, that rose to 47%. So it seemed generally people were in favor of the art as far as how it was affecting vehicle speeds. You can also see that the unsafe, uncomfortable similarly had a change. Like before the art, a lot of people felt that the speeds were uncomfortable and unsafe, and that did decrease after the art was implemented, at least through the results of the survey. This is specific for the crosswalk, this question. So safe and comfortable, like before, 36% of people felt that the crosswalk was safe and comfortable. Then after the art had been installed, that rose to 52%. So generally, like we've seen that there's been a positive response from the neighborhood on how the art is performing. We also brought to the neighborhood a question of how long they would support the art being in place, because we originally intended this to be a temporary project. We had received the grant and the timing worked out. It was okay, like let's try this. We haven't done art in the streets before, and let's see what happens. And we're curious if they would be open to us having it for a longer duration. And a little bit more than half, about 60% were in favor of that, 40% were not. These are just some photos to show how the art has held up since it's been installed. The first one was in May, and then going through to July. And you kind of see that June actually looked a little bit more subdued than July. And we think it's because it was kind of dustier then. And then when the rain came, it actually washed it off and made it more vibrant. So we were pretty happy about that. A little bit more apparent in this photo as well. And so that brings us to the feedback, why we're coming to Transportation Commission. We just want to see what the thoughts are on keeping the art in place until construction year 2026, when the previously agreed upon striping arrangement can be installed. That one is more expansive. It covers a larger portion of Fremont from, I believe, Fort Valley all the way to the southern extent, which I think is Peak View, but I'd have to double check that. But either way, it would cover a larger area of Fremont. We want to see how the art handles a winter, and also want to give us time to secure funding for that more expansive project, because we still don't have a dedicated fund for traffic calming projects. We usually have to do a catch when can. So we do need more time to be able to get that all together. And with that, I think I'll turn it over to the Transportation Commission.
Thank you, David. We'll start with questions by the commission, and then we'll go to public comment, and then we'll finish with comments by the commission. So are there any questions from commissioners this time?
I have a question. You know, you said durability in 1 to 2 years. What they think when they painted it, how long do they think with the sun up here and plowing snow it'll really last?
I believe they thought that the art would last for about a year, but it's already lasted or held up better than we anticipated. So we think about a year, but we're hopeful that it would be longer.
Thank you.
I have a quick question. This is Brandon Cruikshank. Thanks for your presentation, David. It was very informative. I just wonder, did you have any targets set for how the traffic calming was going to work? Or, I mean, the data looks great to me. So I was wondering if, you have plans to do something like this in other parts of the city as well?
I think at this point, potentially, like when I've talked to Jeff, when he saw the results, he also had the ideas like, oh, like this is kind of unexpected. Like it was working better than we anticipated. And he thought maybe this is something we can do in other places. And I think he wanted to see what the commission felt, as well, get their input before we kind of go down that road. I will also say that as far as targets, we do have our residential traffic management guide, which kind of informs us or helps us have a threshold for, okay, these streets do need traffic calming, these streets don't. And when we put the results of this study, or like of the art, like the speed results after the art was in place, into that, it did lower it down significantly. I believe like it's a point system for like if they qualify for traffic calming. And I think we were still just 1 point into qualifying for traffic calming, but it's very close, like close enough to where we thought, okay, maybe this is enough. And like from the feedback we've gotten from the neighborhood, a lot of them do seem satisfied with it. But of course, there's other things we could do because it hasn't been fully expansive. So I think it would be a combination of seeing what the commission thinks and also just weighing like, is what the results we're getting, are they enough?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think the data looks great, and I think the art looks great as well. So I would personally, I would certainly be in favor of looking at other places in town where this might, help with traffic calming. So thank you.
I have a couple comments and a question as well. Thank you for the presentation, David. I agree as well. I think that data looks great. Positive feedback from the public. I think the perception is good as well, which is important. So on the question on keeping the art in place until construction year 2026, what's the alternative to that, David? Is it removing the vertical delineators and then just kind of letting the art fade away, or what's the alternative?
I believe the way we wanted to go forward, regardless, would be to chip seal the road so that the art would be covered like through the chip seal, and then go forward with our construction plan. If we don't do the construction plan, I believe we would still want to do some sort of chip seal, unless we decide to keep the art as a more permanent thing and have it refreshed. Some of those questions I think are still up in the air, and we don't know for sure. I think it'll depend a lot on what we hear from the public as we go forward, and like how it handles the winter, like with the delineators. So it's hard to say. Like, if ideally we'd want to go forward with our ultimate plan and construct that, but if we don't, I believe some sort of chip sealing would be in order, or just something, because we wouldn't want it to wear away to nothing and then have people be confused. We'd have to make some sort of steps, I believe.
Yeah, I'm definitely in favor of leaving it in place. That's not saying that, making that comment without completely understanding the maintenance cost and what the effects of winter and just the general maintenance. But all in all, it seems, I think we're all surprised at how well it's affected traffic on that street. So I think that's very good.
Any further questions before we go to public comment? All right, let's jump into anybody here that is here for public comment. Come on up.
Thank you so much, Chair and Traffic Commission. My name is Kim Austin, and I'm from Metroplan, and I was the project manager for the Cheshire project. I just want to say thank you so much for allowing us to experiment with a demonstration project. And even though it is temporary, we were very pleased with the results and just appreciate the support that the commission has given. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. The results were definitely better. There's no doubt about that. I'm just wondering how they would compare if we had done a more structural thing. For instance, over on University, we recently put in a couple of roundabouts, and I presume that slowed traffic down too. So do we have any estimates of how the paint and the Council 6 did compared to a structural, like a roundabout or whatever? Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember McCarthy. Yes, I can shed some light on this question. So when we did the circles in Boulder Point in a temporary fashion, like with the orange cones or barriers, when we measured the 85th percentile speed, it had fallen to about 27 miles per hour, which for Fremont, like just with the arch, we were able to get it dropped to 30. So the circles did have a more significant impact than just the art and the candlesticks, but they are more expensive too. So it is like a balance of which one we'd want to go forward with. And we are going to study Boulder Point, like the finished product, next week. We're going to put down, I believe, 3 traffic counters and compare that to the before data to verify how things have been affected. So I'd be happy to share that with you too once that's completed.
Thank you.
David, did you have public comment that somebody had sent in?
I do, yes. Is it all right if I read that? All right. So this is from Libby Stortz. She emailed me, and she wasn't able to make it tonight, but she asked me to read this to the commission. So she says, I'd like to see the extension go ahead further up on Fremont, as in the original plan. A 2-lane road on the entirety of Fremont is appropriate for this residential community. There's no reason for more car lanes in a residential area with a school, playground, constant kids, bikers, and pedestrians. The original plan to go farther than what was possible at the time, and I'd like to see the original plan go ahead. I love the artwork, the community coordination with the city, which I'm very grateful, and how many people in the community work together on this, and that it has made some important difference. What I continue to observe is that some/many cars coming from further up tend to continue to drive faster until they get to this 2-lane section. I noticed that in areas in town where there are schools, the rule is 15 miles per hour. I think that could add to the calming. All the people above the new area have access to Peak View to access Fort Valley Road, and it's a 2-lane road if they want to go faster. So these are my suggestions and hope. Thank you for all you've been doing to help the Cheshire community. Sincerely, Libby Storts.
Excellent. So I guess further commission discussion. Any other comments people would like to make or thoughts they have?
Hey, this is Matt Eckhoff. I just want to echo what's been said so far and appreciate the, partnership between the commission and Metro Plan. What I would love to see, since there's a question mark around funding for, David, you're giving a presentation about, chip seal or whatever needs to be done on that painted portion, but, perhaps some coordination with Metro Plan going forward. So the goal of restriping all of Fremont can be done in conjunction with, preserving or maybe even, adding another layer of art. Being a Fremont community member, certainly seeing the impact with my kiddos crossing the road by the park. And so I'm excited to see that continue further up Fremont and obviously to give us some demonstration data to apply to other communities within Flagstaff. So thanks all for the focus on this.
David, based on that comment that you just read, could you remind us what the original plan was and also why it wasn't completely done? Was it a cost thing that prevented, or was it just because it was kind of a trial basis?
Certainly, yeah. So I will open up like our original plan, the one that we did a community survey for and kind of got some consensus on. And what it essentially was, I think I have a cross section in the bottom, is there would be areas where we'd have a center left turn lane and then areas where we would have buffers on either side of the bike lane. And it just depended on like which part of the road we would be at. We also included radar feedback signs in this design. And we weren't able to do this one because of a few reasons. One was the funding. We hadn't secured funding yet to create this. So we tried to explore like, oh, maybe Public Works will be doing a chip seal on Fremont and we can kind of piggyback on that, but we didn't have the opportunity. The other part of it was we had the grant from Bloomberg through Metro Plan. And we figured, okay, like, let's do that. Like, we have money for that. Let's go forward with this idea. But yes, this was the design, and we didn't do it in the past for those reasons, because of the budget constraints and because we had the opportunity with Metro Plan to give that a shot.
Right. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, David, and thanks everybody for your comments. Overall, it's great to see speeds decreasing, and it's also nice when the public supports the work you guys do, because that's what you're doing it for. Yeah, a couple of comments on Mr. Councilmember McCarthy's suggestion around more structural, whether that be the changes. So I think, and you can correct me on this, but this was sort of the unique situation where we have such a large road. But I think part of the goal was to try and do this without significant amounts of construction, just because of the size of the project and the time frame of that. Is that, can you, yeah, I guess, was that sort of the idea of the engineering department?
Yes, definitely. That is one reason why we were attracted to the art as an option, was because it is cheaper than like building the medians or the other things that we could have done for the asphalt art project. And since we hadn't done it before in town, we were curious to see how it would, what effect it would have. And we've been pleasantly surprised with how it's been working.
Excellent. Yeah, I think it's great to try this out and see how it works and see what happens in the spring and how the paint's holding up. Do you feel like you have the feedback you need from us?
Yes, I do. Thank you. I know it seems like we're all on board to keep it going, see how it handles the winter, and then reevaluate our options. Like in the meantime, we'll be working to see if we can't secure funding for the ultimate design. And I believe we might go back to the neighborhood to see if there's any change. Like since it's been up, like do they want to keep it? Like Commissioner Eckhoff mentioned, like maybe have it incorporated into design. Like it seems like people do like the art. So yes, I believe we have enough to move forward.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Moving on now, we have concluding general business. Just some reports. And then informational to and from commissioners and staff. I guess this is an opportunity for any commissioner thoughts and concerns and anything they want to say. Does anybody have anything they'd like to talk about? I'm not hearing anything. And then I see we have something, the Boulder Point and Woodland Drive traffic calming. Do you have a presentation for that, or are you just gonna speak to that, or how's that going?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I do have an update for that. Not a presentation, but just verbally. I'm just trying to find it on. Yeah, okay, I see it. Information items to and from commissioners and staff. So Boulder Point and Woodland Drive, we did submit final acceptance of the project. So all the circles, all the raised crossings, all the normal crossings have been completed. And our next steps are to put down speed counters so we can compare after they've been completed to before to verify that all the speeds have been reduced. We waited until now to give it some time for people to get used to it and also for NAU to be back in full swing because that is a large contributor to the people who use the circles. And so we'll have those results hopefully by the end of this month. Close. I believe we want to set up the counters next week and then we'll have those and we will most likely share those at the next Transportation Commission meeting.
Excellent. I have a question. We have one of those signs there that tells people their speed. Is it possible to put like a logger on that or something so that we could just have like continuous data?
It is, yes. Me and Steph actually explored that this week and we went out and collected data from a few signs just to see how it works because it's been a while since we've used that program. But yes, we do have that capability and I believe we do want to incorporate that as we gather the data this round. One of the signs is like as you enter the neighborhood. I believe the character of that road is different than like as you go further into the neighborhood past the circles. But yes, we will be evaluating those and seeing how things have changed, just see how things are.
Well, how long, I guess, like, can you pull data from the past couple of years from those signs, or is it like a 30-day cycle it rewrites on?
So I think it's a 30-day cycle. When we were out there, we were able to pull a month of data, no problem. Then when I tried to pull a year, it crashed and like wouldn't work. And I haven't verified this yet, but I'm pretty sure it only holds about a month.
Okay. Well, yeah, I think if we can use those moving forward, especially in other traffic calming stuff, it seems like a nice way to have, the putting down the strips is kind of like a point in time. And with those things, you kind of get somewhat continuously updating information.
Indeed.
Excellent. Well, great. Looks like we might have a short meeting today. That's it for our agenda items. The next meeting is scheduled for October 2nd with tentative agenda items of the regional plan update, 2023 crash report, Fox Glen traffic calming, and a City of Flagstaff capital improvements program presentation as well. Thanks everybody for your time today. I guess we need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I move to adjourn the meeting.
Second that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Excellent. Meeting's adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Joe.